Hello, my name is Anna. Today I'll be identifying specific parts of the nail unit and their functions. To start off, I will show you the true cuticle, which is just this whitish part right here. That is dead tissue that sticks to the nail plate. It comes from the underside of the proximal nail fold, which is the fold of skin surrounding the nail plate right here. This fold sheds a layer of skin that attaches to the top of the nail plate, and that's where we can see the true cuticle, this visible dead tissue. The matrix, although you can't see it, it's located right here, directly below the proximal nail fold. It's the most important part of the nail unit. It's what produces the cells that form the nail plate. And it contains blood and nerve, so if it's injured, then a permanent nail deformity could occur. Now onto the eponychium. It's a visible skin fold that ends at the edge of the proximal nail fold, so right here. Proximal nail fold's here, and the eponychium's right here, and the true cuticle is right there. The eponychium is living skin at the base of the nail. Many people mistaken this for the cuticle, which is dead tissue, but the eponychium is living tissue. Now onto the lanula. You can't see it on all nails for all people, but for my client here, it's located on his thumb. And it's this whitish half moon right here. It's the visible part of the matrix, which, like we said, is where all the nail plate cells are produced. And it determines the shape of the nail plate if nails weren't filed. Now onto the hyponychium. This is the farthest edge of skin. It's located right under the free edge, right here. And it's made up of epidermis tissue. And this is a very important part of the nail unit because it forms a waterproof seal, which prevents bacteria like fungi, viruses from getting in. Now onto the sole horn. Might be a little hard to show on this hand. The sole horn is it's actually epidermis that's attached to the underside of the free edge until the nail grows past the fingertip. So it's hard to see because the nails are short, but it would show up underneath the nail as like whitish like bits of tissue. And then as for the onychodermal band, that is a thin gray band that's just underneath the nail plate, and it's just located before the free edge. So this white part of the nail at the end, it's this gray band right here, and it serves as a seal between the nail plate and the hyponychium. Now, as I just said, the free edge, it's the most distal, like unattached portion of the nail that it extends beyond the fingertip, and it's this whitish part. It protects our nail bed and fingertips from bacteria, debris, any kind of trauma. So if the free edge is over buffed or over filed when getting a manicure, it can become weaker, and so the protection against those things would be weaker. Now, as for this specific client, the condition of their nail plate and nail bed, the nail bed looks pink, so it appears pretty healthy. Not really any visible ridges on any of the nails. The free edge, as for that, it's quite short because they were just recently cut. No discolorations in the free edge or anything like that, so these nails look pretty healthy. The texture of the hand and the skin, so the texture is very smooth. The skin's a little bit cold, but not too cold, so it seems pretty normal. Everything looks in good condition. Now I'm going to show you how to perform a red polish application. So when doing a manicure, you always start with the right hand, and you start with the pinky of the right hand, and then you go on to the left hand, do it from the pinky to the thumb. So I'm just going to first start off with base coat. And one of the things to make sure you should do when you are polishing with base coat or color is holding the polish bottle in your hand like this. And then you pick up their finger that you're going to start with, which is the pinky. You pull the sidewalls back with your thumb and your index finger, and then just apply the base coat. You should do 3 strokes, 1 in the middle, and then 1 on each side. And you want to be careful not to add too much base coat, otherwise it could affect when you're putting on the polish color. It could come off not as smooth. Another thing that's important when you're doing this with the base coat or polish or top coat is you should always anchor your pinky on either the polish bottle or on your own finger. And then I would go on to do the left hand, but we're only going to do the right hand today. Now I've applied the base coat on all 5 fingers, so I'll go in with my red polish. And with the polish especially, it's very important to get the right amount of polish, which you can do by just first swiping off the polish from the brush and then picking up a little bead of polish, just however much you need for whichever finger you're working on. So I'm going to start with the pinky, so I don't need much. So I'll anchor my finger here. I have my polish bottle here. I'll anchor my finger on my own middle finger of my non-dominant hand, and then I will take the brush, start and let it fan out and drag it over the free edge. Then do the same thing on the left side. Did not pick up enough polish, so grab a little bit more. That's why it's important to have the polish bottle in your hand, so that you can easily grab more if you need it or wipe off excess if you don't need it. Now I'll grab a little bit more because I'm doing a larger finger here. Just letting the brush fan out towards the eponychium there, but trying not to get any polish on the skin as best I can. So there's like a bead of polish that I picked up. And it's important to drag it across the free edge so you're not missing the end of the nail there. And I find if I go to try to add more polish there, it won't come on as smoothly. Definitely need a lot more for the thumb. It's hard to pick up a large enough bead sometimes, so again, that's why it's really important to have your polish bottle accessible to you while you're doing this. And because my client's fingernails are a little bit larger, it's a little bit harder to get it in 3 strokes, but that's okay. Just go over it again. So that's the first coat there. We'll go in for the second coat. And then just quickly do a little bit of cleanup around the nails with my orange wood stick. I'm just putting a little piece of cotton around it. Just go around and take the orange wood stick and clean up around the nails. And I've dipped this in some nail polish remover so it can come off easily. And now I'll go in with my top coat. Again, just the same techniques for polishing with the color and the top coat. And then you're all done. So that was identifying some specific parts of the nail plate and their functions, how to apply base coat, 2 coats of polish, and a top coat. Thank you for listening.